If you're over 50 and you've got these 7 symptoms, you're not just getting older. It's a sign you're too stressed. And if you're dealing with an autoimmune disease on top of it, this matters even more than you think. Do you wake up wired at 3 in the morning? Do you crave salt out of nowhere? Can you feel your heart pounding while you're just sitting still? As a nurse who's lived through this myself, I'm going to walk you through all 7 signs, the ones that get missed for years, and one simple thing that you can start tonight. And number 4 even caught me by surprise. You've probably been told this is just your age or just your hormones. But deep down, you know that just does not sound right. Because these 7 symptoms aren't 7 separate problems. They belong to one system that's worn down. When you live under stress long enough, your cortisol and your nervous system forget how to turn off. And for those of us with autoimmune disease, that stuck switch is one of the biggest things that can set off a flare. So let's get curious about this. Let's start with the first symptom. You fall asleep just fine, but then you snap awake somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning, wide awake and wired. Most people blame it on their age or on getting up to use the bathroom. But a lot of the time, what's going on is a cortisol spike. Overnight, your blood sugar naturally dips. And if your stress system is already running hot, your body pumps out adrenaline and cortisol to put that blood sugar back up. And that little jolt is what wakes you up. I lived this for years, lying there exhausted but buzzing at 3 in the morning, and it's so frustrating. So here's the part that surprised me. Instead of reaching for melatonin, try studying your blood sugar overnight. A few bites of protein and a fat before bed, or even a teaspoon of raw honey, can soften that early morning surge of cortisol for a lot of us. And when you do wake up at night, try not to look at the clock because seeing that number just feeds the alarm. Now, waking up at 3 a.m. is loud and obvious, but this next one is so quiet that most people never connect it to stress at all. The second symptom is this: you catch yourself sighing a lot. I still do that. Or you go to take a deep breath and it feels like you can't quite get a full one in. It's a strange feeling. But this usually isn't about your lungs, it's your nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode, keeping your breathing fast and shallow, high up in your chest, not the deep breathing that we need. Your body still thinks it's in danger, even when you're sitting on the couch. And here's the tricky part: that usual advice to just take a big deep breath can make it worse because gulping in more air isn't what your body needs. What helps is a longer, slower exhale out through your nose. And I've done a couple of videos on nervous system hacks to help you release your nervous system and calm your nervous system down in 60 seconds. And we'll put the link to that video at the end. Try breathing in for 4 counts and then out for 6 or 7. That long exhale is what finally tells your body the danger has passed. Okay, the third symptom is one you can actually feel on your tongue. You start craving salt, not sweets, not sugar, but salt. You want the chips, the pickles, the salty broth, and meanwhile, plain food tastes like nothing to you. People love to joke about salt cravings, but a strong craving can be your adrenal glands waving a little flag at you. When your stress system has been running hard for years, it burns through your minerals and your body starts losing sodium faster than it should. So it asks you for salt because it genuinely needs it. And the fix here is gentle. A pinch of real mineral salt, like Celtic sea salt, that's the gray kind, or the Himalayan salt, which is the pink kind. stirred into your water in the morning can help a lot of people feel a bit steadier throughout the day. And no, this isn't the processed salt warning you're used to hearing. Your worn out adrenals may truly need those minerals. So it's worth mentioning to your provider if that craving never lets up. This breathing and stress response pattern is why, for a couple of years now, I've worn a little device called Apollo Neuro. It's a wearable that sends out gentle vibrations to nudge your nervous system out of that wired, stuck state and back towards calm. And this has really helped me to get to sleep and stay asleep. And I wear mine every day and night to keep stress under control. I'll leave a link for it down below if you'd like to take a look. But I do want to be straight with you about it. It's not a magic fix, it's a support. It's just one tool in my toolbox. And before we go any further, if any of this is landing for you, do me a favor and hit subscribe now because we're only halfway through these 7. And the ones still coming are the ones I hear about the most in my comments. Now, in the 4th system is the one that surprised me the most. And it's a big one for anyone dealing with autoimmune disease. Foods you've eaten your whole life suddenly stop agreeing with you. A single glass of wine gives you a pounding headache. Aged cheese or leftovers or a little sauerkraut leave you flushed or itchy or all stuffed up, and you just assume your gut is getting old on you. But here's what most people miss: stress and histamine are closely linked. When you're stressed for a long stretch of time, the immune cells that store histamine, your mast cells, get twitchy and start dumping more of it into your system. Then you add a few high histamine foods on top of that, and your whole bucket overflows. I've watched this happen in my own body. The flushing and the puffiness that I can honestly see on camera in my own videos during a bad week. You've maybe even noticed it as well. So during those stressful stretches, easing up on the highest histamine foods, especially the wine and aged cheese and the leftovers, give your body a little room while you bring that stress back down. I put a simple stress reset inside my free autoimmune relief and energy workbook so that you're not left guessing at all of this. It's linked down in the description below and it won't cost you a thing. But food isn't the only thing that stress can scramble. Symptom number 5 tends to show up right in the middle of a sentence. You're talking, and the exact word you were going to say has left the building. You know the word, it's right there on the tip of your tongue, and then it just completely disappears, usually right when you're feeling the most pressure. This one really scares people because it can truly feel like the start of memory loss. But stress does this on its own. This has happened to me personally during meetings and regular conversations, and I really thought it was the start of dementia. Here's what's happening here: high cortisol gets in the way of the part of your brain that pulls up your words. When this has happened to me, what helps in the moment is a quick little reset. That same long, slow exhale we just talked about, or humming for a few seconds. I know it sounds too simple to matter, but these ease you back out of your fight or flight mode, and your words come so much easier when your body finally feels safe. This next one is the one I really wish someone had explained to me decades ago. Symptom number 6 is when you push hard all week long, and then the minute you finally stop, you get sick or you flare. You make it all the way through the deadline or the trip or a big holiday, and then you're just flat on your back. Most people think it's just them getting older, but this truly has a name. It's called the letdown effect. When you're still pushing, your stress hormones are holding all your symptoms back. And then when you finally relax, those hormones drop off fast, and everything you'd been holding at bay comes rushing in all at once. And for those of us with autoimmune disease, that's so often exactly when a flare decides to hit. I learned this one the hard way. I always used to push right through everything and I got sick. And for me, that helped tip my thyroid into Hashimoto's. So the answer here is not to ever rest again. It's to come down slowly. Don't slam yourself from 100 miles an hour down to zero. Give yourself a ramp instead. 10 quiet minutes, a short, easy walk, that long exhale so that your body can ease off the gas instead of crashing off a cliff. All right, there's one more, and it might be something your body is doing right now while you're sitting here watching this. With symptom 7, you can feel your own heartbeat when you're sitting perfectly still, or your ears start ringing in a quiet room. It's really unsettling, and it's often at its worst at night. A lot of the time, this is your nervous system idling way too high and never quite settling all the way down. And one of the truest signs of that is something called low heart rate variability, which is really just a measure of how well your body can shift back and forth between stress and calm. You can't force that number up, but you can train it. And the simplest way, the one that most people skip right over, is morning light. Get your eyes on some natural light within an hour of waking up helps to reset your whole cortisol rhythm. So it runs high in the morning and low at night, the way it was always meant to. It's completely free and almost nobody actually does it. So here's the mistake that I see many people make the most. They take these 7 signs and they go chasing after them one at a time, a pill for sleep, a supplement for the fog, coffee or an energy drink for the fatigue. But you saw the thread running underneath a lot of them, right? Every single one traces back to that same worn out stress system. So if you chase them one by one, you'll just stay exhausted. But when you turn the actual stress response back down, a surprising number of them start to ease up together. So when your body wakes you at 3 in the morning, or has you craving salt, or losing your words, or flares the second that you finally rest, understand that it isn't betraying you. Your body has been carrying a really heavy load for a long time, and it's just asking you for help. And it's the only language that it has. And you don't have to fix all 7 of these tonight. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's the longer exhale before bed. Maybe it's getting that morning light tomorrow morning. Small moves that tell your body it's finally safe. And one quick nurse note before you go, some of these symptoms can have other causes too. So if you're having real palpitations or chest pain or fainting or ringing in just one ear, please go get checked out by your provider. This is here to give you a new lens on things, not to replace your care. I would love to hear from you. Out of these 7, which one hit home the hardest for you? The 3 a.m. wake up or the words that vanish right in the middle of a sentence? Tell me down in the comments below because it may help someone scrolling through who needs to know they're not the only one. And my free autoimmune relief and energy workbook is waiting for you down in the description. Your body isn't broken, it's burdened. And when you understand those burdens, you can finally begin supporting your body in the way it's needed all along. Please take care of yourself because you deserve to feel better. Almost everything I just walked you through traces back to one thing, a stress response that never quite shuts off, and cortisol that stays too high for too long. And the good news is you don't have to just live with that. These are a handful of simple, natural ways to bring that cortisol back down. And a couple of them are things most people over 50 have never tried, even once. I walk through exactly how I lower mine step by step in this video at the very end. Watch that one next, and everything you just learned about these symptoms will finally have somewhere to go. Remember, we're all in this together. I'll see you in the next one.